Live streaming is on.
Okay, I think we are live. So I think we can start. We have just few people at the moment.
Okay.
Thank you for your attention. And thanks to everyone watching now for joining us. Sorry for a little delay, and we had a little bit technical issues, but now we can start. So hello everyone. You're watching Women in Tech live interviews. My name is Teddy, and I'm very excited to introduce the series of interviews with successful women. Today we have a very special guest. Her name is Kristina Simakova. She is a Google developer expert for Android and Maps, Android manager at Shortcut, and co-founder at Magus AS, a company working on the educational AR apps for kids. Hello, Christina. Thank you
Hi.
so much for joining us today. Hi, thank you. We're really happy to have you today. So I would like to start first asking you, how are you actually?
Yes. I'm good. Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you so much. So the first question, which I think it's a very important question, is especially for our organization. We are working on bringing more women in tech, and for us, it's really important to know what is the reason of women to enter the industry. So I want to ask you, how did you decide to choose tech? Why touching tech? Why tech exactly?
Yes. So for me, it was a little bit. I think starting from my childhood, because I was spending a lot of time with my father, and he was an electrician, and he liked photography, and like we tinkered with bicycles. So he was teaching me as I think 6-year-old or 7-year-old how to change an electricity socket at home. So like he was teaching me how to measure the electricity current and so on. So I think this love for technical stuff came from him, and because I spent so much time with him growing up. And then at school I really loved math, and I also, but when I was applying for the university, I thought I want to be a lawyer, and I had to take an exam to get into the university as a lawyer. It was a history exam, and I really hated history. So the other option was to go into something technical, and one of the most popular studies were IT back then in when was it, 2002. So I just, because I had very good grades, and I decided, well, I should try it. And I should add that until I got into university, I did not have my own computer. So I had exposure to computers. I had courses and stuff like that, but I didn't have my own at home. So my knowledge was actually very limited. Yeah, so I think that's it, kind of by chance, I would say, and just went to it. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for sharing. Really interesting to hear. So you are basically influenced by your family in a way.
Yes, I think so. Yeah, and maybe a little bit by chance, and I think also very grateful for my math teacher. She was really teaching very math in an interesting way, so maybe that's why my interest grew in this technical field and math especially. So I think also teachers has a lot to do with it as well.
Perfect. Thank you so much for sharing your story. Choose how actually you choose tech. Did you had any challenges while entering tech, working in tech, being a woman in tech? Something.
Uh, Yeah, definitely. So I think we all have challenges. It doesn't matter which area you work in. And for me, it's not about being a woman, but when I started my first university in Russia, as I said, I didn't have a computer, and I think a lot of the other students, they had computers, so they knew how to install like Windows 98 and like everything. For me, it was a bit scary, and I felt a little bit behind. And as a straight A student, it was a kind of strange feeling. So that was a challenge for me. I think the first year, especially, to kind of not stay behind, try to be on top of things. And also, when I moved to Norway and I took my master's in computer science, I was the only girl or woman in the class. We were, I think, 9 people, and many of many of the guys, they came from the bachelor degree. They studied together. They were already friends, so it was very challenging to have a master degree in a foreign language. It was a Norwegian language, I might add. It was also a foreign country, and definitely it was a challenge. But I don't think it was a challenge because I was a woman. I think it just different challenges. And to be honest, I never had. I think until maybe I started working in Oslo, I had this thing about it is hard to be a woman in tech. For me, it was just another way of working or just another career. It was, I never felt something different, even though it was only guys I was studying with. It was just how it is, I guess.
Is
Yeah.
there some moments when you wanted to quit the industry that you felt like it is not for you, or you had some situations which made you thinking that you want to quit eventually?
Yes, so definitely there were some times, and sometimes it's starting from, okay, you cannot fix the bug because like you are sometimes sitting with one problem for a few days. As a developer, it can happen, and then you're just, okay, why I'm doing this. But I think for me, maybe the most like maybe dangerous one was I was in a project. I felt I was really burned out. It was a few years ago, and like I was really motivated at first. It was really nice project, and then something happened. Maybe it was a burned out that like I just felt like, okay, I don't want to go to work. And I actually took a break. I decided that maybe I should try something else. Maybe development is not for me. And it was not because I didn't like it. It was mostly because I think I lost any like happiness or like in the work itself. So I think it was not the programming itself, but it was just the environment, like not environment, but because of the burnout. And so I took a break. It was like 3 months. I actually went to Gründerskole. It's like a course or like a study in Norway. It's quite popular. And I went to Singapore for 3 months to just hang out with startups and study there. Back then I really wanted to switch to something else. I was like, yes, maybe I should do marketing. So, and back then I was trying to explore other things, and at the end I just understood that it was not the IT itself, but it was like the project, the consequences, and something else. Yeah. So I came back.
Yeah, and that's amazing because now we have you here with us today, and you are one of the um, the most successful and like inspiring women in tech in Oslo and Norway.
Oh, thank you.
Really great that you didn't take this decision and you decided to stay in tech. And I think it's a good example for everyone who is listening now and watching us, that if you have similar situation, especially burnout, I think it's something what we face very often, and in tech is it's probably
Yeah.
many people face. So it's a nice you share this experience, so people might follow this example, and if there are situations when they feel uncertain, they can just rethink. And tech is amazing space, and it has a lot of future in tech, of course,
Yes.
especially for women in tech. But was there what actually you like working in tech?
So what I really like is that I can create anything from my, like, using my laptop. And I believe that you don't have to have a very powerful laptop to create a startup or project, or start making money online, or create a product that people actually use and really need. So that is like, I just feel it's really powerful to be able to be a creator. And you know, we have artists, and we have people like that, like really in this creative industry. And I feel we also programmers, we are actually also quite creative people. And I also believe that we have this like power of creating new jobs, new tools, new services, and maybe like products that actually help people. So I think that's really powerful.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing. What are you working at the moment? Is there any interesting projects that you would like to share about?
Well, we are, as you mentioned in the introduction earlier, I am working in Shortcut as an Android manager, and we have many projects going on. Quite, I think they're very interesting all together. And I don't know if I can name one or two of those, because I just feel they're all quite interesting. And on my other side is I'm quite fascinated with augmented reality, and I'm using my spare time to create something in that area. I'm also blogging about it on my blog, and it also gives me very good like kind of sense of like creativity. And also especially I enjoy people. Actually, like, I was surprised that people are writing to me and saying that it helped them with like a bachelor thesis or something, and they ask questions, and it's like really inspiring that you can help someone else. They find what you do interesting and helpful. So yeah.
It's amazing, and I hope some people which are watching also will find some information that will help them. And maybe going in this direction, I would like to ask you something what I've been wondering, and I guess a lot of people that are considering career in tech would also have similar question. Do you think, like, when you decide to go into tech, um, if you take just online course or some kind of self-learning material, you can develop a career, or is it necessary that you have to go and take a degree in a university? What is your opinion on that? And if you have any any kind of experience you would like to share, we would love to hear.
Yes, that's a really good question, and I feel there are a lot of people actually looking maybe some answers or some advice on that. I like, in my own experience, I believe it is possible to become a developer without taking a bachelor or master in computer science. It is not impossible. It is like I've seen people doing that, and I've seen people doing that are now working in Google and quite successful. And so my answer is yes, but the question is it as easy as maybe some of the companies advertise it to be? And then the answer is unfortunately no, in my opinion, because when I see the advertisements that you can become a developer in like 2 months or by doing this course, I feel like in my experience it's not exactly the truth, because to be honest, it takes quite a lot of time and effort to be so good that, or it's not about being good, but it's to get this experience and understanding what's going on so that you can be actually considered and hired in the company and be working in the product that is, let's say, used by many millions of people. So I just want to say to people that are considering, be mindful that it will take time. It will probably not take you just 3 months and then you will find a job that is highly paid. It takes time, and if I will ask the organizers to post a link. And I found this influencer, I would call her influencer, on YouTube, and she has quite a few or quite a lot of good videos about this topic. She is herself self-taught developer, and she's talking about the challenges and especially things like what things I wish I knew before I start like taking this course. And like I think everyone before taking the leap should watch it and at least be aware of the challenges, because that will be definitely there. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. That's a very valuable information actually, because we see all the time now courses, online commercials that promise you that, let's say in 3 months you will be developer and you will get a certain amount of salary. Very appealing, but then it's not so easy how it is presented.
Yes. And I think also, especially like, for example, if any of you are considering taking this kind of boot camp or a course, what I would advise is what I did myself as a student. I went to fin.no and then I searched for positions I would like to apply for. And I saw what they wanted, what kind of technology I should know to apply for this job. And then I was like actually like ticking off like, okay, I know this, and I thought, okay, this I should learn more about. And for example, if you see this boot camp and then it says it uses this technology, but you see in the Fin announcements, they really are not looking for this kind of specialist, then maybe it's not a course for you or not a boot camp for you. So try to find the skills that actually the market needs when you are trying to select a course or a boot camp that you want to take.
Yeah, that's amazing advice, because I feel sometimes the educational, some of the courses, they are not really relevant to what the market search. So going the other way around, making your research first, that's amazing advice, definitely. You mentioned a blogger that we'll definitely link under the video, below the video. Do you have suggestion of any other source of learning and improving, like books or podcasts or something what you have found very useful and what you would like to recommend for people that are watching?
So
somebody who you follow and it's a person that deserves to be followed, that you would recommend?
Yeah, I think it really depends on what people are interested in, because I'm in the space of mobile development, and what I found is there are a lot of YouTube channels, and especially the channels for example, if we're talking about Google Maps, there is a special channel from Google that is just posting about Google Maps. And there are very short videos, like 2-3 minutes, where you learn a little bit about the technology or what's new. And that's like quite powerful, that you don't have to go through the whole tutorial, but at least you know what are the like different new features are coming out. So follow like this kind of very short YouTube things. Like there is a channel called Google Developers. I think they are posting about everything. Um, what I really found powerful is to sign up for weekly newsletters, and I signed for, like, my specialty is Android Weekly and Kotlin Weekly. And even though maybe you don't have time to read everything every week, but at least by the titles you understand what is new, what is coming up, what you should maybe check, and so on. So it very depends on what you what you want to learn, and yeah. And coming back to, for example, GDEs, yeah, if one of you wants to learn JavaScript, I recommend to find like GDEs that are doing web development and follow them on Twitter. They usually share a lot of useful information. Yeah, and so on.
Yeah, thank you so much. We will link some afterwards, some resources, so anyone who is watching can actually follow them and manage to learn and improve through these suggestions. I wanted to ask you also, what do you do as a Google Android developer? It sounds expert, actually. It sounds very impressive, and it would be nice to share a little bit about what you actually do. Maybe it will be inspiring for somebody who's watching, and also to clear a little bit, because for me personally, it sounds very interesting, and I would like to know a little bit more about that.
Yes, so Google Developer Expert is a network of people, or experts is a network of developers that, first of all, you have to maybe work a little bit, have experience as a developer, and then those developers are usually known as contributing to the community, to growing the community, from teaching, making YouTube tutorials, blogging about Google technologies like Android, any web development, Flutter, for instance, and so on. And as I think mentioned, contributing to open source, even answering Stack Overflow questions, and so on. So basically bringing or sharing your knowledge with others, or sharing your knowledge to the communities, speaking at the conferences. And usually this community, we see this like people that are quite active, they share their knowledge, and they get nominated to be a Google Developer Expert. Then they go through this process of 2 interviews, one with the community experts, so one of us, and then one with Google, and then you can get the Google Developer Expert title, I would say. But yeah, but overall goal is to share the knowledge about the technologies. Yeah.
Amazing. Thank you so much for sharing, and it's amazing to have you today. I mean, person like you, which has this title, and yeah, and I know that you've been in different conferences and sharing your knowledge. So it's really great to have you today again
Oh,
sharing
thank you.
experience with us. You mentioned earlier about Margus as your company. Could you share a little bit more about? It would be interesting to hear, because you are not you work, of course, in tech, but it seems that you also work in the entrepreneurship area, and also what you are doing with the company as activity is quite interesting. So it will be really great to hear a little bit more about it.
Yeah, so actually, so from the beginning, we didn't start it as a company. It started as a project, and my business partner Renata, we met the first time in July last year, and she was looking for someone that could help her with the project. She got a grant from a business Oslo business region, and it was about AR, and she wanted to meet someone or talk about this technology and how to implement the project. And I kind of did a bit similar project before, and I had some also time, like free time. So I said, yeah, I like it sounded interesting, and I felt we also like kind of hit like it was a good connection, and so we started the project. And while running this project, we also applied for another fund, like funding and project in that we launched recently. It's called Lillestrøm Påskejakt. So it's like scavenger hunt, Easter hunt, and that went quite well as well. We had over 5-6 days. We had over 500 people playing the game, and by making those two games, we understood that maybe there is something we want to build on top and create a kind of platform where families can come and select any story or any game and play while they're having a walk and enjoying storytelling, learning about history. By it's like Pokemon Go combination with maps and storytelling audio guides. So it's like all together. So that's what we are working on now. And hopefully we'll launch the first product as a platform in the upcoming months.
Yeah, that's quite exciting. Actually, and it's amazing to see such an application of tech related to education and bringing some impact. And I'm actually quite excited about AR. And so I was really happy that we will have this conversation and we could learn more about this part of tech. Um, how do you see AR in the future? Probably education is one of the areas where it has a lot of implementation. What else can we expect from your experience? And if you could share some insights, it would be great.
Yeah, I'm myself very excited about AR since I first got introduced to it in 2011 while I was doing my master thesis. I think in the future we will definitely see AR glasses. I don't know when they're coming, and I think they will be a part of our lives. Like it's like we have mobile phones today. We cannot live without them, obviously. So I believe there will be glasses. I don't know how it will work. I don't know how often we're gonna wear them. But definitely this experience is coming. But other than that, I think AR is quite useful for many areas of or any industries actually, and I also see a very big improvement in the technology and how they combine machine learning, computer vision, and all this together to create really seamless solution for AR. It's very stable, and I believe we'll see like very amazing use cases in the upcoming years, and we will not even understand the difference from reality.
Yeah, that's quite exciting actually, and I can already imagine everybody has glasses instead of the phones. You just have glasses,
Yeah.
and yeah, it seems like it's like from a movie scene, but it seems that the technology is actually going there. So it's really
Yeah.
exciting to look to the future and really see what we will experience in a couple of years.
There are obviously a lot of concerns as well with this technology. But yeah, we'll see. I think people were also concerned when phones got GPS feature, and people were quite critical about that. And they were like, "Who wants to be tracked all the time?" You know. And look at us today. We cannot live without our Google Maps and all these services that are actually so dependent on our GPS location. So I'm very excited to see how this all turned out, like all our worries about privacy, because with the glasses we will be able to film a lot of it, or kind of we can get a lot of information around us. So the privacy is a very big concern.
Yeah, well, it's already a concern now, and I can imagine when we have the glasses. Do you think uh, I mean, what challenges do you face now working with AR? Do you think people still don't really understand and they are a bit more reserved on, or it's hard to implement it as a technology? It's not so popular yet. Do you face some challenges in this direction?
Yeah, so definitely there are a lot of challenges because, first of all, not everyone are familiar with this pattern. Because let's say if we are creating a usual app, it's you. If I explain to you, okay, there is an app, we have a login button, we have a list, and we have a detail view, you kind of understand what I'm talking about because like hundreds of apps are doing the same. With AR, it's very hard to explain what is AR. It is really hard to, when I'm talking about it with people, I try always to show the examples or videos to demonstrate. Otherwise, it's really hard to explain the concept because things are not happening in 2D on just your screen. It's happening around you. So it's definitely hard, and especially it's hard to explain to, let's say, a customer that is coming to us and say, I want this app. It's hard to explain, but now you need additional 3D designer, and this costs a lot of money as well to create these 3D models. And when suddenly a customer wants like the whole scene of animated characters, it gets like it gets really expensive, and you have to be very you need to know how to explain this, how to explain why this costs as much as it costs, and how you can make it cheaper or better for a customer. Maybe get other. I think it's more like you need to explain a lot, you need to talk to a lot of people, and especially in the apps, also the apps we're building now in Magus, I think these onboarding explanation screens are very important, how you use the app. So that's definitely something we are using a lot.
Yeah, it sounds really interesting. I will definitely follow your work in the area of AR, and we will follow you as Women in Tech Oslo. You've been always very supportive. You had workshops with us, and you last year we had the Women in Tech Oslo Award, and we decided that you were the person that we would like to to give it to, and it's really interesting to follow you further. And thank you so much for joining us once again today.
Thank you.
We have a few viewers. I know that. Due to issue we had a slight technical issue in the beginning, we don't have so many people watching, but we'll repost it afterwards, so then more people will have the chance to see it. But if anyone who is watching now has some question, would like to ask something, Christina, please feel free to do it. We have you can do it in YouTube. There is where is the window with the communication window. You can just type your question, and I believe Christina will be happy to answer it.
Yes, and I just want to say that I'm really happy to be a part of the network and like help women in tech community to grow and support you. And I'm looking forward to other workshops we can do together in the future.
That will be amazing. We're planning interesting events and some new content coming. Also, we have one event called Empower Hour. I think you know already.
Yeah, yes.
We were actually considering to invite you there, but we thought that in this format with the live interview, probably we could have you share a little bit more in details working in what you're working and to be just bring a little bit more value. So yeah, definitely we would love in the future also to make like workshop and other type of content that will be interesting and will bring value. I see a question from Svetlana. Hello, Svetlana. On which items should beginner concentrate from the start of IT career? The best way to practice any advices? That's what she's asking. Do you want
Okay.
to repeat it or?
I think it's very general question about where to start, I guess. And first of all, I want to say that there are so many different areas you can do, or you can go to, or you can do. And I feel there are we are all different. And some people are more like structured, some people are more like creative. And that's why there are so many other technologies that you can be good at. So without maybe knowing you, Svetlana, or like knowing your background, it's really hard to advise. But I would say like very basic is, even though myself, I don't like JavaScript, but I would advise you to start with JavaScript and HTML and like all this web development. If you really don't know much about programming, so take a course about understanding the programming, what it is. I have a friend that did online course. It's quite good, very interactive, called learnprogramming.online. So like something like that, check out if you don't know programming, and then go, let's say, JavaScript and make a web page out of that, try to understand what it is. Just start with the feeling of what it is programming. And one of the reasons why I would recommend JavaScript, because you can see results quite fast without having a lot of knowledge about programming. So it gives you like a good feedback and kind of good feeling that you're actually doing something without sitting in the books like for weeks.
Yeah, that sounds great advice. I hope it's helpful to Svetlana. She actually has another question. What is the trend now in Norway in the IT industry, by your opinion? Which language is the most popular? Which technology or something else? The trends now, so people.
Yeah. So I can start with something I know, so which is mobile development, and as I work in Shortcut, we are native, more or less native development company. So if you're learning Android development, Kotlin is the one I would go for. And Java is getting kind of old school, and we, for example, don't do any more Java projects. We do everything in Kotlin. It's Swift on iOS, and also what is really up and coming now is Flutter. It's a cross-platform, and you can also do apps for the web as well. So this is definitely something, let's say, if you're and maybe entrepreneur, you want to make a product, I would recommend definitely a Flutter, because you can do both iOS and Android. So that was mobile. I would say definitely if you are very beginner, start with JavaScript, and then we have a lot of other like frameworks, or how to call it, where to go next, and that's also changing all the time. I'm not that familiar with like web development and what is like new and popular now. Hard to say. Um, it's also like React and all this React Native, uh, quite popular at the moment. And on the backend, I feel like Go is quite popular. I know Vips is using a lot of Go programming language. If you're into science, let's say if you're into like data analytics, so Python is definitely a good choice of tool. Yeah.
Amazing. Thank you for sharing all these insights. Let's see if we have another question.
Yeah.
If not, that was quite good questions, actually. Thank you, Svetlana.
Yes, thank you, Svetlana. It was very good. Good questions.
If we don't have, now is the moment. If somebody else wants to ask something, if not, C. Okay, Svetlana is asking: is C still in demand?
Not, I would say not really, but maybe some. I think it really depends on where you want to work, because I would say maybe if you're working with embedded system, it means that you are creating, or you're working with devices and you're programming the devices. Like I would assume medical devices and something like that. Like that C might be an option, or not might be, but it's probably what they use. I don't have experience in that area, in the like device embedded systems. If, let's say, if you know C, that's great, and maybe that's where you should look for jobs. But if you don't know and you're a total developer, don't start with it.
Yeah. She's asking also about front end plus Azure.
Yeah. Yeah, so definitely, so there are like Azure, there are like three main, I would say, cloud providers: Azure, AWS, Amazon, and GCP. This is Google Cloud Platform. So I think all of those three are quite popular, and if you select one of those and want to learn, definitely it's a good way of, let's say, getting a job. And what I also like about all of those three, because I think all of those three, they have certifications. I know about Google Cloud Platform, they have certifications and have great tutorials you can take, you can learn, you can take certification, and this can help you to get a job. Even if you don't have a degree, these kind of papers will definitely get you somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing. Really, really helpful information, I believe. Thank you so much for sharing, and thank you for the questions, Svetlana. Let's see if we have another question. If not, I think we might just wrap up the session. Yes. It was really great to have you, Christina. Do you want to say some final words for anyone who is entering tech, who wants to grow?
Yes. So for you entering the tech or thinking about it, I would say it's never too late. And I can say that in shortcut, I see people actually, they are going and studying and becoming developers. Some people quite late, and they are being very successful developers. And so there is no limit of age. So never think about that you're old and now you cannot do anything. So I think even if you're 65 or 75, I think everyone can learn. So age is not a criteria. Second is you should be very patient with everything because you will be sitting and trying to understand what's not working, and the skill you need to master is debugging, is where to find where is this problem. So be patient and just just do it. And you can also see there are a lot of people doing it, and it's not I think if we all have a goal to do anything, we can definitely do it. And I believe that anyone can learn how to be either a designer or a developer or whomever you want to be. Yeah, so I hope it will be helpful.
Definitely, and quite inspiring. I just saw that Svetlana has two questions. Let's
Yes.
take it as a I know. Do those certificates help? She's asking.
Yes, definitely. So I would add, not all certificates help. So don't run around and get all the certificates you can get. But I would definitely say these GCP and AVS certificates, they have something to say in your application. And especially if you don't have a degree in computer science, by having these certificates, it gives you like extra. So it gives you, okay, even if you don't have the degree, you have this knowledge. It's kind of stamp of approval from Amazon or Google or Azure. Unfortunately, I don't know if Azure has certificates, but those Amazon and Google, I'm pretty sure they are quite helpful in finding a job.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you for answering that question as well. And I think the last question, which Svetlana is asking, it's quite a good question for final answer and for closing of the session. Is how to not lose motivation during study and during the work searching process.
Yeah. So I think first of all, you need to obviously have a goal to find a job. The second, so you should have your friends that are supporting you. That's like very helpful, and maybe your parents, because I feel, let's say if it's your not first education, it's maybe your second, maybe you need to take it in the evenings. It's really hard, I don't like it's really hard. I know it will be hard to study and all this stuff in the evenings or in the I would say to see the people, look at the people that actually did it. And this girl that I was, or a young woman that I was talking about, influencer on YouTube, I think she's very inspiring to look at her, like watch her videos and see like how she from like she didn't know how to code. She just had the course or two. I don't remember her story, and now she's actually working in Google. And not everyone can work. Like it's really hard to get there. And if you see that she managed, it didn't happen in 1 month or 2 months. I think it took her like a few years, but she did it. And I think it's helpful to see people actually did what you want to do, and then you see what they did to get there. I think it's quite helpful. So definitely find influencers, I would say influencers, but people that did the same road as you want to do, and maybe even contact them and ask them, can you help me and so on. And I know like the founder of Women in Tech, Marina, she is a self-taught developer. And when she, like, to be honest, when she told me I'm doing it, she did it like evenings and summer camp and stuff. Like I was like quite skeptical because I was like I didn't know how much she can do, like really, and I am so impressed by what she did. Like I am super impressed. So for example, Marina is one of those people that I would look for and like look and see what she did, because she has a job as a developer, and I'm like very proud of her what she did, and that's like just amazing. And just to have the example, like kind of local, not about American influencer, but here is the founder of Women in Tech that became a developer without a degree.
Yeah, it's I'm so happy you're saying this, Christina. For me also, Marina is one of the most inspiring people I met, and we had the first interview with her a couple of months ago, and hopefully we'll make another one. And she's definitely a person that could inspire you and show you that like you can do it. So it's really great that you are saying this. And
and I can say another like, let's say, local example is the founder of Levagon Oslo. She's also a self-taught developer, and I met her several times. Very inspiring young woman. That's also I would follow up and just maybe have a chat and ask her opinions because she's self-taught. She did this like the whole road, and she worked as a developer as well. So yeah, she knows. She can give you good answers, and maybe she's a good candidate for the next interview as well.
Yeah. Local examples as well as international examples, so people can really learn from and get the whole overview and manage to get inspiration and also some insightful information. Oh, thank you so much. Svetlana is saying, girls, you do such good things. Yeah, it's really great that we managed to have you today, Christina, even though we had a little bit of challenges with the live streaming. It's amazing that we managed to have this conversation and to share so much valuable information and to have this chat with you.
Thank you for having me. Yes.
It has been a pleasure, and we will look forward to other collaborations and maybe workshop, as you mentioned.
Definitely.
Other activities. And I think now is we're going close to the end. It's time to close the today's session. And I also wanted to say thanks a lot to everyone who joined us today. We are going to have more interviews with other inspiring and amazing women like Christina. So stay tuned. Follow us on the social media channels. And we will see you next time. Thank you so much. Have a great evening.
Bye.